A scary wake-up call for many in the North County, where several fast-moving brush fires engulfed the hills overnight. ABC 10 News was first on air at 2:40 this morning. This midday, where evacuations stand now and the fight to contain the flames.
And this was one of two Santa Ana wind events that ignited a slew of wildfires in the North County early this morning. We'll revisit the Lilac Fire conditions as crews get a handle on that wildfire, and we'll also talk about the secondary round and how strong that one is going to be.
And our Olivia Gonzalez-Britt joins us from the evacuation site in Bonsal, where San Diegans are grabbing a few essentials while they wait for the call to return home.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Hello and thank you for joining us this midday. I'm Marie Cornell. We start with an update on the fires we've been covering all morning long. ABC 10 News was the first to jump on the air at 2:40 this morning, giving you minute-by-minute updates. Of them all, the Lilac Fire burning in Bonsal was the greatest, charring 80 acres of land, threatening buildings and forcing evacuations. We had several live crews at the scene covering the story for hours nonstop. And our extensive team coverage continues as fire crews are still working to put out the threat. ABC 10 News reporter Adam Campos was just feet away where the winds were fueling the flames, and our Olivia Gonzalez-Britt spoke with those forced to leave everything behind as the fires threaten their homes. Our Pinpoint meteorologist Vanessa Paz has the impact these Santa Ana winds are causing now. Adam Campos starts us off with an update from the scene. Adam.
Hey, good morning, Marie. Right now, as we've been here all morning long, we just spoke with the CAL FIRE PIO, and we got pretty much the best news that they can get out of this fire right now. It is now 30% contained, and forward progress on the fire spread has stopped. And you can see the crews are continuing to work nonstop here at the hill. This was the main hillside here off of Old Highway 396 that burnt down. And you can see right now they're just working to try to put out any other smoldering that is in the area because they just want to be cautiously optimistic. Even though spread has stopped and the fire is starting to build more, it's starting to be more contained, they still want to be cautiously optimistic just because they don't know how the winds are going to react. The winds have died down tremendously since this morning when we were here, and they have stayed calm, but again, we just never know how the winds are going to react. And as you mentioned, we were the first on air, and our photographer Chris Escobar and I, we were one of the first crews here as well. We've been here since around 2:30 in the morning, and the fire that we saw, the whole hillside burning for about a mile down this hill. And at first the crews, they were starting to get a handle on the fire on one part that we were visiting, but when the wind started to pick up and the gusts really started to come through this hillside here, the fire eventually jumping from one side of the old highway down closer towards I-15 and another part of this area sparking up into flames. And it was a quick reaction from CAL FIRE and all the other firefighters here as they started to dash over to the fire. So it was a very quick response from the firefighters here on the old highway trying to fight this Lilac Fire. But it just showed from the winds how strong they were with the Santa Ana wind events that we were having, how fast these fires can spark up. But the good news is now that we are on later in the day, we are starting to see that forward progress has stopped. It is at 30% containment. We don't have the exact new numbers on what the acreage actually is at. All we know is that it's at 80, but for right now we are seeing them. They are focusing on just making sure that no hot spots start up again, and they can just make sure that they're continuing to add to that containment. Marie.
Thank you so much, Adam. And we just got new numbers from CAL FIRE. The Paula fire in Fallbrook has been 100% contained. That is according to CAL FIRE. Now, officials on the ground are evacuating those with large animals to Temecula. A center is set up off the 79 at Anza Road. This is about a mile east of the Temecula Valley Hospital. And right now, fire crews are battling these fires in areas that are under a high wind warning. We're bringing in meteorologist Vanessa Paz with more on the heightened fire risks. Vanessa.
Hey, Marie. So not only are we under a high wind warning, but also a red flag warning. Both of those went into effect late last night and will take us all the way through this evening. Now, I do want to revisit the Lilac Fire conditions. Again, this is one of 3 wildfires that sparked earlier this morning, and crews did a fantastic job getting a hold of these with with, again, the conditions that they had to work with. Temperatures were on their side this morning. We were cool in the 40s when that fire erupted. Temperatures are warming up a little bit at 66 degrees. I do want to note that when the fire broke out around the 1-2 o'clock hour, isolated gusts within this pocket right here were only about 35-40 miles per hour. So that's just an indication that just because these pockets didn't see some of the strongest winds the county clocked in does not mean that they were out of the clear when it came to that fire danger. That's right, that red flag warning, really important to keep in mind and consider for much of the region, even those areas that see some of the calmer winds. Peak winds since midnight have been impressive, to say the least. We clocked in close to 90-mile-per-hour gusts in Hoosier Mountain, Sill Hill. Yesterday saw gusts over 100 miles per hour. They clocked in 102 yesterday. That's just shy of their record of 106. Palomar Mountain, meanwhile, clocked in 75-mile-per-hour gusts this morning. Cuyamaca got close to that. We are seeing some of the strongest winds currently, and they will continue to strengthen through the afternoon. Now, coming up in my full forecast, we'll take a closer look at the secondary round of Santa Ana's, because we are inching towards peak activity with this first round, but it's not over yet. We have a secondary round, and we'll pinpoint those details a little later. Marie.
Well, the winds making the fast-moving flames hard to control overnight. Like we mentioned earlier, forward rate of spread has been stopped for the Lilac Fire, and that is good news for evacuees. Our Olivia Gonzalez-Britt is at the Riverview Evangelical Free Church in Bonsal, where more people forced to flee their homes there last night are seeking some moments of relief.
Good morning, Marie. Yeah, dozens of people have been displaced since early this morning, leaving them with no other choice than to be in their cars trying to stay warm throughout the very cold morning that we experienced. And that was in Escondido, where the first temporary evacuation center was placed. Now we are in Bonsal at the Riverview Church, as you mentioned, where they have just moved this evacuation center. Red Cross teams are already here offering food and water for those who need it. Some of the people I spoke with are no strangers to evacuation orders like these. They've been through this before. They've mastered the difficult task of packing up their essentials in just a matter of minutes and leaving their homes behind without looking back. But for others, like a woman who lost her home in 2017 to the Lilac Fire, which burned over 4,000 acres and destroyed more than 100 homes, this situation is just bringing back those traumatic memories and make the decision to leave even more heartbreaking.
Well, I don't want to go through that again. That's about it. You know, it was a long stretch going through it, and we had lost all our documents, and those all had to be updated, and just, you know, clothes and precious things that our grandchildren and children gave us. Everything was gone. It was traumatic.
I mean, the possibility of you losing your home, you told me that you don't have a place to go if you can't go back tonight.
No, nowhere. And no relatives out here anymore. Her son used to live here, but he moved to Des Moines. Too expensive to live in California.
And now I spoke with the Sheriff's Department, who tells me that multiple factors, including power lines and the containment of the fire, have to do with evaluating whether if people can come back to their homes and lifting those evacuation and warnings for evacuation. So they are going to meet later today to make sure that it is safe for people to go back to their homes. But up until now, we don't see that coming anytime soon. For now, live in Bonsal, Olivia Gonzalez-Britt, ABC 10 News.
Well, right now, 16,530 SDG&E customers are without power due to the extreme fire conditions. The utility company warns power could now be shut off to 67,000 more people through the end of the week. Right now, you're looking at a map of the communities that could be impacted. SDG&E says these shutoffs are a last resort meant to lower fire risk. Now, it has opened community resources for those impacted by the shutoffs. They have Wi-Fi and charging stations available. You can find a list on SDG&E's website. And in light of high winds and power outages, schools in several districts are closed today. They include Julian Union Elementary and high school districts, along with the Bonsal Unified School District, where the Lilac Fire is currently burning. Now, Mountain Empire, Spencer Valley, and Warner Unified School Districts are also closed, along with Mount Woodson Elementary, Lakeside Farms, and Dream Academy. Now remember, keep it here. ABC 10 News was the first station on air this morning, bringing you that live update on the Lilac Fire starting at 2:30 this morning. We will continue that coverage throughout the day online, 10news.com, and also with our ABC 10 News mobile app. Well, while the winds whip across San Diego, fire crews are working tirelessly to knock down the fires still burning in Los Angeles, where containment stands now, nearly 3 weeks after those fires sparked. And forward progress on the Lilac Fire stopped. A look at the destruction and cleanup efforts in the North County after this morning's hectic start to the day.
And it's 11:10 on your Tuesday morning. You're taking a live look outside from our backyard cam facing the 805 north as you pass Home Avenue, making your way towards the 15 connector. We're tracking a crash 5 south right at Carmel Valley, right where it intersects with the 56. Looks like a car hit a ladder that was in one of the fast lanes, and now 2 cars are totaled as a result. Tow trucks have arrived on scene to get all of that cleared off the road. It's on the 5 south right at Carmel Valley. We'll be back after this.